So today we're going to be going over 10 fragrances that hang in the air for a substantial amount of time. When you walk into a room or walk through a room, that scent is going to leave a trail behind you, and it's not going to dissipate within a couple minutes. It's going to be hanging in the air and people are going to be able to pick up on it for a while. I've already covered fragrances with great longevity. I've covered fragrances with great projection, all of this recently, but this is going to be different than projection here, because projection really refers to if you're standing in one spot, how far will that fragrance push out without you moving a muscle? So you can essentially step foot into a room, stand there, and then that fragrance will have the strength to potentially start to fill up the entire room. Now, fragrances like that are going to be a bit louder and maybe not quite as appropriate in a workplace setting, but that's up to you. What we're focusing on here is fragrances that are dense, heavy, and rich. Very thick fragrances. This video is all about thick fragrances. I didn't want to title this video Top 10 Thick Fragrances because that would be a little bit weird, so I had to come up with something else, but that's essentially what it is. These aren't providing a whole lot of distance, but they do have a lot of hang time. If you want to be able to leave a nice trail behind you and still have people sniffing you out even after you've walked through the room, this one's going to be for you. Let's get it. First up, we have Dolce & Gabbana Velvet Incenso. Yeah, Velvet Incenso. I had to do a double take on that. It's the first time I said this out loud. So this here is part of their more exclusive line and also part of their velvet line, obviously. This one uses incense, benzoin, black pepper as a few of the main notes. It's a lot more rich, it's a lot more heavy, much more sweet. It's spicy, it's smoky, it's very sexy, very alluring. Now this one's not going to project 15 or 20 feet away from you, but it is going to leave a trail, and this will hang in the air for a good amount of time. And I mean, we can test this with all of these here, although the room is going to start to smell pretty strong pretty quick. But I could spray that up in the air and it's going to be here for a while. You can smell it already, and I'm going to be smelling on that for a while until I spray something else, and then we have a whole clash of stuff going on here. But these really do have the richness, the denseness, the thickness to hang in the air, and that's what we're looking for. Next up, we have Oud For Greatness by Initio. So this one here caught a whole bunch of hype when it first came out, and really, it's kind of a surprise given the price tag on this one. Oud, saffron, and nutmeg are some of the main notes here, and part of the reason why it was getting talked about heavily when it first came out was because it was initially getting a lot of comparisons to Baccarat Rouge 540, which in and of itself is a hype monster. So anything that can kind of tag along with that a little bit is going to excel, at least for a short amount of time. I mean, look at Ariana Grande Cloud. That is very much a clone of Baccarat Rouge 540, and it shot off like crazy, although I guess it does have Ariana Grande's name attached to it, which probably helped a little bit. But yeah, the main reason why this one got hyped is because of that Baccarat Rouge 540 comparison, and there's a little bit of a similarity, but ultimately this goes in a much different direction with the prominent oud note that you would expect to see in this. It's woody, it's spicy, it's oriental, it's very unique, and absolutely incredibly strong. Like, this is kind of ridiculously strong. This is an eau de parfum concentration too, so it's not like it's a pure parfum or anything like that. It's one that has great longevity, but it also really hangs in the air. I could spray this one in the air and it would stick around for such a long time. And if you're wearing this on your skin's providing some heat, it's able to develop, and you walk through a room, it's going to be hanging for quite a while. Oh, and for the record, I can still smell that Dolce & Gabbana Incenso that I sprayed a minute ago. So I think I'm going to be smelling that for the entirety of this video here. We'll do a little experiment. Oh, and I have to mention, if you want to grab a bottle of Oud For Greatness for yourself, you got to go through Twisted Lily and use my code CHAOS10 for 10% off. I will link it up down below. Otherwise, you're just going to be paying retail basically everywhere else, and it's not that cheap. Like I mentioned, it's expensive. Really, the only way you're going to be able to get it is to use my code CHAOS10 to get 10% off at Twisted Lily. Check it out. Next up, we have Eros Parfum by Versace, of course, the newest flanker here. This, out of all of them, is going to be the heaviest, the richest, and the most grown-up. Now, it's not a grown-up fragrance. It's not like they went from Eros Eau de Toilette being a minty, sweet, bubblegummy scent to Eros Parfum being a aromatic fougere barbershop. That is not how this one evolved at all. There's still the original Eros DNA in here. However, I find that there's a bit more of a creaminess, a bit more of a kind of a smooth, almost like leathery suede richness to this one that is absent in all of the other flankers, essentially making it a bit more grown up and a bit more mature, while still being a bit playful, still having that Eros DNA. Obviously, it's a Parfum concentration, so typically with this type of concentration comes something that does have really good hang time, and it definitely lives up to that. It's got good longevity as well, but it really likes to just hang in the air after you, or if you were to just spray this up in the air to smell it, it's going to be sticking around for a while. Next up, Pure Excess Night by Paco Rabanne. So yeah, Paco Rabanne creating a fragrance that is super loud and strong, no surprise. Caramel, myrrh, and vanilla are some of the main notes in this one here. So it's sweet, it's warm, it's inviting. Along with those is a very spicy ginseng note up top, which you can't miss. And that may put some people off, but you gotta trust me. Get past that super spicy opening, and when you get into the sweeter dry down and the smoother dry down here, you're going to be hooked on this one. Initially, I was kind of a little bit iffy on it when I first smelled it because of how spicy the opening is, but you can get past that and get into something amazing here. And yes, I was making fun of them a second ago for creating loud, obnoxious fragrances, but this really doesn't quite fit into the crowd of 1 Million and Invictus, at least in terms of its scent, because this is actually interesting. Like, it's not a boring, bubblegummy, just super sweet scent with no thought at all. You can tell that they were shooting for something actually creative here, and that's why I like it so much. And really, same goes for the original Pure XS as well. A lot of love for that one. And yeah, I can still smell that Dolce & Gabbana that we sprayed at the beginning of the video. Next up, Diesel Bad Intense. White tobacco, woody notes, nutmeg, and caviar are some of the main notes of this one. Yeah, look, it's super easy to make fun of the name, okay? I think that was a terrible idea, especially for Diesel, because they already get enough crap because they're Diesel, right? They are Diesel. You know them for the super big, loud watches that they sell that are actually kind of expensive. And they're super horrendous and ugly, but they sell them and people buy them. They're known for creating a lot of fragrances which may not be that good. And so generally in the fragrance community, what I'm trying to say is Diesel doesn't have the best reputation here. However, they do have a few good ones. In my opinion, this is one of them. And to be real, I kind of like the original Diesel Bad as well. So Diesel, please, if you're watching this, the community already isn't on your side. So please don't name your fragrance bad. That just doesn't help. That makes it much worse. So this one has a nice freshness to it, but also the sweetness. It gets compared a little bit to like Invictus Aqua, but it's quite a bit different than that. There's the spicy nutmeg. You get the white tobacco in here, which is different. It's not used all the time. There's a good amount of woods in here, so it's masculine. It's a bit fresh, spicy, kind of warm, oriental. There's a nice bit of sweetness going on here, especially in the base. For me, it's really pleasant. And if you hate the scent and you don't like it, you don't want anything to do with Diesel, one thing that you can't deny is that it is a good performer, at least on my skin. This is very strong stuff. It lasts a long time, and the main reason why it's here is because it really does leave a nice trail in the air. Apply this to your skin, walk into a room, just kind of hang out for a minute, and then leave, and then have someone who isn't wearing the fragrance go in there, and they're guaranteed to smell it, and they're going to be smelling it for a while. And that's really a test you can do with all of these just to see how well they work. So yeah, if you're going out and you want to get noticed and have a nice trail behind you and pull a lot of compliments, Diesel Bad is the way to go. Let's keep it moving here. Up next, Azzaro, The Most Wanted. So I've been giving a whole lot of love to this one's older brother, Wanted by Night, here recently. But I decided, I want to kind of go back to this one. And also it so happens that this leaves a great trail in the air. So might as well put it in. Toffee, cardamom, and amberwood are the only 3 notes that they give us. Obviously, there's going to be more going on here, but kind of the trend now is to just give a standard 3-note breakdown, 1 top, 1 mid, 1 base. And that's the stuff that they want you to focus on. They're basically convincing you that that is what's in there and that's all. And I do agree with the note breakdown that they give here. Those 3 notes, I do pick up on all of those. But there are some brands out there with certain fragrances that do this 3-note breakdown thing where they're convincing you like, yes, this is what's in here and that's it. And there's some where I don't even pick up on, 1 or 2 of the notes that they're listing off. So it's like, okay, what are you guys doing? Personally, I prefer the standard full note breakdown, but this will do. What's interesting about this one is it does have a gourmand, kind of chocolatey, toffee, caramelized type of sweetness here in this one. Completely different than the original, completely different than Wanted by Night, and definitely completely different than the atrocious Wanted Tonic. So this one is actually an Eau de Parfum Intense and not a Parfum. You may think it would be, considering the evolution we've gone from the EDT to the EDP and now this one, but whatever. But it does perform like a Parfum. It leaves a heavy trail in the air, and it's going to be sticking around for a while. Next up, Stronger With You, Absolutely by Emporio Armani. Rum, vanilla, and chestnut are some of the main notes, and for me, this is my favorite from the lineup. Absolutely love what they did with this one here. I love the original. I love the Intensely as well. I like Freeze. I like the whole line, but this is the best. Taking that original DNA and improving upon it even more, adding some vanilla focus and adding a nice rum accord in here. Essentially, this is like Eros Parfum, where they've gone a step in the right direction of making it a little bit more mature, but yet it's still not mature at all. It's still playful, it's still super sweet, it's still Stronger With You. But they give us just a little bit more of a refined, put together type of scent DNA here, which I really enjoy. So this one did follow the traditional path that all fragrances follow these days, EDT, EDP, and Parfum, and so it performs as such. Great longevity like you would expect and like you would imagine from this line, which for the most part does pretty good. But then where you really get into the hotness, to the juiciness here is going to be that sillage, that scent trail that it leaves. It hangs in the air really well. It's got a really dense richness to it, and when you smell this one after it has been in the air for a while, after you've made it pass through the room, it smells incredible. Same goes with all of these. I mean, just kind of the scent trail that these leave smell amazing, and a lot of times these smell better in that trail versus if you're just taking it, smelling it off the atomizer, or smelling it directly off your skin. If you're able to waft it and catch like a secondhand sniff, secondhand smoke smell, secondhand fragrance smell, I guess, kind of connecting the dots here, it smells even better. I guess it's kind of the same way if you smell your own cigar smoke, it smells nice, but if someone else near you is smoking it, it smells 10 times better. Next up, Yves Saint Laurent Y Eau de Parfum. Amberwood, apple, and sage are some of the main notes. Needs no introduction. This here is Yves Saint Laurent's dive into the blue fragrance realm, but doing it quite a bit different. It's sweet, but it's also fresh and clean. So it's like an out-of-the-shower scent with a little bit of added depth and sweetness to it. So this one's popular for a number of reasons. One, it's a great compliment getter, and people know that. People have caught on to that by now. But two, it's a monster performer, and that's probably the main reason, along with the compliment getting thing as well. But there can be compliment getters out there that pull more compliments than Sauvage and Creed Aventus and Dior Sauvage combined. Sauvage and Dior Sauvage, yes, they are different. No, actually they're not, but you get what I'm saying here. Combine all of the compliment-getting fragrances together into one bottle. If it doesn't perform, people will shun it, and they will hate on it, and they will crap on it for as far as the eye can see. Basically what I'm saying is most of the fragrance community is very performance driven. So when you give them something that is an absolute monster, they go crazy over it. So that's what we get here. We get great compliments, we get great performance, we get a really pleasant smell, and a ton of versatility too. I mean, it has it all. It has really good projection distance too. So this is a 2-for-1 deal. Great projection distance, but also it leaves a massive trail, especially out in the heat. Like if you're wearing this out in the summertime and the sun's beating down, it's opening the scent up and really helping it to develop more, and then you're walking through somewhere, it leaves a heavy trail. You can't get past it. I mean, it's just there. People walking behind you, they're getting a load of this stuff, whether they like it or not. Oh, and if you were wondering, I can still smell this stuff right here. No joke. Running down to the end here, Terre de Hermes Parfum. Orange, woods, grapefruit, and oak moss are some of the main notes. Dry, woody, bitter, clean. I'm actually not going to spray because that'll ruin my test. I almost did though. But yeah, the scent that we really didn't need a Parfum from, at least in terms of actual scent profile, we got it. Because most people can't even get down with the original Terre de Hermes. It is very woody, it's very dry, very bitter, very stringent with that orange and dry woods combination. I love it. I think it smells great, but not everyone does. And so a lot of people will go over to Terre de Hermes Eau Très Fresh to kind of weasel their way into something that smells similar but lighter and fresher, easier to pull off. And that fragrance is also really good. However, for the die-hard people, for the people who don't give a crap and they want the most extreme, woody, masculine, earthy fragrances they can get their hands on the designer side, that's where this one comes in. So this is a pure Parfum concentration. It's got great longevity, and it leaves a killer scent trail. This stuff is heavy. It stays and stays and stays. If you want to get rid of it, spray something else over it, turn on a fan, open a window, do something, because it's here to stay. And last up, Prada Amber Pour Homme Intense. Patchouli, myrrh, amber, and vanilla are some of the main notes. I absolutely love this scent. Right off the atomizer here, as it's not been sprayed for a while, you get a whole load of that patchouli. And for me, that's what it's all about here. But also a combination of the other notes as well, adding a bit more of a sweetness. It's woody, it's spicy, it's undoubtedly masculine. But even though it has all of that, the sweeter notes, the heavier woody notes, it's still a Prada soapy clean fragrance. And it's so weird, but Prada is so good at doing stuff like this where they're able to create something with a good amount of depth and not just your typical lavender clean scent, but it still has this luxurious Prada soapy clean quality to it. Something that can be enjoyed by many guys out there for any situation. Same goes for the original Prada Amber Pour Homme. It's very clean and soapy, but this one is even more to the extreme, and this one leaves even more of a heavy scent trail. Whether you like it or not, whether anyone else around you likes it or not, if you're wearing this and you're on the move, it's sticking in the air. So guys, that's gonna do it for me. That was 10 fragrances that leave a strong, heavy scent trail, and it lingers in the air for a long time. Let me know down below some fragrances that you have that leaves a super heavy, strong trail. And I will provide links to all of these down below if you want to check any of these out or pick any of these up. Also, if you want to see some bonus content, if you want to chat with me one-on-one in a group chat, if you want to get access to these videos before everyone else gets to see them, check out the channel memberships. You can hit the join button down below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.